Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and this is likely the cleanest you will see this F-150 Raptor for the rest of this video, because starting tomorrow, we're going to load it up with camping gear and two of my good buddies, and we're headed to the desert. This is the Raptor 37, so it's a nice in-between a base F-150 Raptor here for the 2024 model year and the top dog, the F-150 Raptor R, which features the 5-liter V8. This one's still 3.5-liter twin turbocharged V6, but despite that motor not sounding quite as cool as the supercharged V8 and not being quite as fast, this is still a remarkably capable truck, and for what we're going to be doing, honestly probably a better choice, because you'd have to spend about an extra $20,000 or so to get into the Raptor R, and you're going to get worse fuel economy. This one's going to be a little bit lighter and just as capable for what we're going to do off-road. So we are going to load up this tailgate here, which you can see is powered. That's something that surprised me here so far, having this truck. I just picked it up earlier today. It's so fancy. I don't even think you could get just like a base Raptor anymore that's got the hardware in order to go off-road and have fun and everything without sort of the luxury bits around. So this one still got the old man step, which is going to come in handy later on this week when we're loading up the bed here with camping gear. You've got two power outlets back there. Let's see, this one has 20 amps, so okay, yeah, 2.4 kilowatts. So if we want to power something up, maybe some sort of generator or something this weekend, we can do that. Look, if you start to close that, it closes on its own. We've got the tow hooks back there. We've got the 37-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain TA KO2s on here, and we've got the upgraded shock package with this 37 as well. Can't wait to try that out. I really love this shelter green color. It looks really, really nice. And then you get inside here and you start seeing some of the other luxury bits. We've got, of course, full powered seats, but heated and ventilated as well. Adjustable pedals, I've been impressed by that. The 14-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which you can check out our full review on in the link below. Got a little American flag, of course, gotta have that. And our buddy in the back seat's gonna be comfortable too. He's got 2-stage heated seat options on the outboard seats. We've got a full wall-style 20-amp power outlet there, as well as 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt and vents. Big panoramic sunroof. He's got a center armrest, of course, a bunch of cup holders. This is going to be a cool truck. It really is. I'm really excited. We're going to be headed out to the Anza Borrego State Park, largest state park here in California. We're going to be doing some exploring around there and some camping out at Ocotillo Wells. So we're going to get to do some really fun off-roading with this, as well as some cool adventuring, maybe some hiking around there. I'm really excited, and I'm just excited to be back in an F-150 because this is admittedly one of my guilty pleasure cars. As I spend more time in other trucks, I just miss the F-150 more, because the F-150 does such a great job at just being a comfortable and well thought out vehicle. When I first got in here this morning, when it got delivered, I noticed all of the different storage points around the truck. You've got 2 in the door. You've got 1 down here on either side of the center console. You've got this nifty little padded pocket here that holds a phone very well. You've got this spot right here, which can take the shifter down when you're parked in order to create this big flat workspace. But with the 24 models now, the shifter doesn't automatically fold into there when you shut off the truck, so you can use that area as storage as well. You've got storage up here along with not only a wireless device charger, but a ventilated wireless device charger. Even the $90,000 Mercedes E-Class that I just had earlier this week didn't have a ventilated wireless device charger. That's important when you're running the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on here. You've got storage up here. You've got 2 different storage areas, the normal glove box and then an upper glove box. And most of those storage areas have rubber padded bottoms so things don't slide around. So far, I'm just happy to be back in an F-150. Even more happy that it's a Raptor. Even more happy that it's the Raptor 37. And let's head to loading this thing up and getting out on our adventure. All right, we're about an hour away from the off-roading area that we're gonna hit. I got Dax in the car, I got Anish, we've We've got the whole truck bed filled up with our camping gear. And as you'll see from some of these photos, I had to get a little bit creative because we're going to be doing some off-roading, obviously, and we didn't want stuff flying around too much. So we managed to pack things in fairly tight into the bed, and then because we don't have any sort of tonneau cover or anything on here, took a tarp and then 2 straps and kind of laid them down and crisscrossed. So hopefully everything stays put in there. We'll do a little bit of driving off-road and take a look at things, see how stuff has settled in. But the interior of the cab has been really nice because we've got storage under the rear seats. We're able to put a lot of the stuff that we're going to want to access throughout the drive here. And then both Dax and Anish pointed out how when we got in, both the luxury elements of the truck as well as the practicality. And I know I mentioned that to you all here at the beginning of the video, but there's so many places to put stuff. So I've got my device on the wireless device charger. Dax has his phone and sunglasses here in a cup holder, as well as his bottle back there. Anish has his wallet and things going in the cup holders as well as by him. He's got power outlets back there so he can charge his stuff. I've got hats and water bottles going. We've got the wireless Android Auto giving us our map. And of course, for people who are going to regularly go off-roading, having the Onyx maps right here built into your phone projection is going to be really helpful as well once we go to do the off-road trails. So we got that going for us also. And then also the fact that this is just such a refined experience out here on the highway. We're doing 75 miles per hour, 10th gear, and even though we've got those 37-inch KO2s on there, you don't hear them running on the road. It's really, really impressive. Wind noise, pretty tame. Don't hear the motor at all. I've got the exhaust in quiet mode just to kind of tame it down a little bit more here on the highway. But we're going uphill climbing right now at 75, still staying in top gear. Not only that, Dax has his ventilated seat going a little bit. We're comfortable. I've got the adaptive cruise control working, so when we're taking the HOV lanes, getting down here is just nice following along with everybody. We've got the active lane keeping, so you see, take my hands off the wheel, and it's nicely taking us through. Now, it's not full-on forward blue cruise. That would be self-driving for us here on the highway, but it's still very competent and allows me to do things like grab a swig of water or take a look at the radio or something like that without necessarily having to keep firm eyes and hands on the road. Now, of course, fuel economy is not going to be impressive with a truck like this, but we were doing about 16 and a half, nearly 17 miles per gallon on the flatland. Now that we've been getting away from some traffic and also climbing, we are down to 15.6 miles per gallon. And I imagine after we get doing our off-roading, it's going to be just a bit lower than that as well. So definitely not a fuel sipper, but we've got a big fuel tank in here, still 300 miles of range, just over half a tank. We're going to stop and top it off, and we should be good to go for some fun driving. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, looks great.
All right. So we're going to stop and grab some gas and then catch up with you once we get off-road.
He said he was gonna take a video.
Just a lot of undulation.
Yeah. Back and forth.
Just sand.
Sand, just sand. Just sand. A little drop up here on this side.
Okay. Should be filming this. Woo!
Fuck.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. You're about to drop 3, 2, 1.
All rested up after an awesome night, and yesterday running in the Raptor was perfect. It was just so much fun. Between the high speed, the low speed crawling, we were all extremely impressed. We were comfortable, we had a great time. We were able to get out here into the desert, have a nice little night of hanging out, camping. We were able to fit all of the tents and all the gear, of course, in the back of the truck. Had a good time, and today we're gonna go continue exploring Ocotillo Wells. We're gonna see some of the views out here at Anza Borrego, and I am excited. So we're gonna get packed back up and get back out on the road. All right, we are messing around out here at the 4x4 training area out at Ocotillo Wells. We did some great traversing across the various trails out here in the recreational area, and we have all been thoroughly impressed with the mixture of the Raptor's comfort and capability. Let's kind of see what else there is around here to try. What about this one? We are in rock crawl mode right now. Actually, no, we're not, because we restarted the vehicle. Should get back down here, and we are still in 4 low though, so that'll be fine. We can put it in rock crawl. Okay. The mixture of these KO2s and the powertrain, no problem whatsoever. Of course, having the nice big camera helps as well once we get to the top. And right back down. Let's try going this way. Let's see what we can find. Now, the main thing that you end up having an issue with is simply the width of the Raptor. We have our mirrors folded in, and even then you start getting into some of these trails and you're like, I think I could do it, but it's just a little close for comfort compared to something like a Tacoma or Wrangler. Now for this next one, we are going to try the crawl control here on the Raptor. See how it handles it. Got some rocks, got a pretty big dip right here. So I'm going to get about halfway up and press this button. Trail 1 pedal active, use set button for trail control. And from here, let's do 3 miles per hour. And it's like cruise control for off-roading. We are at a pretty dramatic angle here. We got 19 degrees, 20 degrees, 21. No problem. And you can use that trail control for going down as well if you don't want to modulate your brakes or you're in a really sketchy situation. And there it is. And of course you can still press the accelerator and speed yourself up manually if you'd like. Alright, well, Ocotillo Wells has been fun. We're going to do a little bit more adventuring and maybe some hiking if we can be so bothered, and wrap things up here later on today. Wrapping up our second day here after traveling all over the desert, unloading and loading the camping gear, doing the highway, doing the drive-thrus. What's really just impressed me is obviously, yes, the raw capability of the Raptor. I mean, some of the jumps and bumps and trails that we hit at the speeds that we did, it's just absolutely crazy that you can go to a dealership, put down a monthly payment, and have a truck like this with a full warranty and all of that. Super, super impressive. But then on top of that, the fact that once we're done, we threw a little extra air in the tires and got back on our way, and this is just such a nice, comfortable place to be. What I was saying at the beginning of the video is of having so many different spaces around the truck has really proven itself to be useful throughout this trip, because at this point we've got napkins, we've got food bags, we've got multiple different drinks and cups going, and water bottles and sunglasses and phones, and we've been able to put them all places, which cannot be said for a lot of different vehicles. And the fact that the F-150 has such a functional interior helps make it that much better of a lifestyle vehicle, as opposed to just something that can jump around off-road but then isn't nice to live with on the day-to-day. Now, what isn't exactly nice to live with is the fuel economy. We got off the trails today after, mind you, a lot of trail running. I think it was about 8 hours or so total on the trip meter that we had done on the trails, but we were averaging 6.5 miles per gallon, which for those of you who do a lot of off-roading, especially higher speed, you know, that's not too crazy, and it's kind of just par for the course. It's sort of pay to play. But now that we are getting back into Orange County, we've traveled 420 miles total, and our total trip meter is up to 10.7 miles per gallon. And that's 91 premium octane in here, so definitely something you have to consider. Fortunately, that fuel tank is large enough so that we were able to do all of our running around off-road on one tank, because it does burn quite a bit of fuel, and the fact that we have enough in there to sort of get us through the day is well appreciated. Very, very few complaints from my side as well. I've almost always got little tiny annoyances that crop up after spending time in the vehicle, and I do still have the car for another few days after the trip, so we'll see if anything else pops up for me, but I really have been remarkably satisfied with with just about everything with the car. What about you guys? Any other thoughts from the passenger or the rear seats?
Well, I thought the comfortability really showed during the trail riding. You know, some of those bumps and some of those dips that we hit at the speeds we were hitting, you know, I was almost finding myself bracing a lot more compared like with the normal car or truck, and this thing just handled it like a beauty.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anish?
Yeah, I think you guys summed it up pretty well. Power and comfort is really balanced, and you don't need to worry about much.
Yeah. And the other thing is, obviously you can't shoot a Raptor video these days without mentioning the Raptor R, but at the end of the day, the Raptor R is a bit more of just a flex piece with that huge 5-liter supercharged V8, because we had this thing totally loaded up, 3 guys, all of our gear, and flying through these off-road trails. And it's not like I felt like we needed more power. I mean, we were definitely getting up to speeds that we had no business doing on those off-road trails, and it's fun to hear it and to ring it out, and I wasn't finding myself lacking with the 3.5 EcoBoost here. That being said, obviously, yeah, you're going to get a little bit more of an adrenaline rush with that $20,000 extra Raptor R, and you can't beat that sound. I mean, the 3.5 doesn't quite, it sounds cool. We have those cool experiences of kind of echoing the exhaust off the canyon walls, but it's not even in the same league as the 5-liter. So that is a cool reason to get the Raptor R, but to me, hardly justifies $20,000 over this. So I'm going to wrap up some of my final thoughts with you tomorrow, but we're going to get back home, get the interior and exterior cleaned up here on the truck, and get some showers. I think it's probably the next thing for us to do. Back here in the real world, we've got the Raptor 37 cleaned up, we've got it unloaded, and I wanted to wrap up some of my final thoughts with you on the truck, because while yes, we did have that awesome weekend with it, flying around and having a great guy's time, I've also been living with the truck throughout the week, and typically I do these pro and con takeaway videos, but obviously we had more special things going on with this truck. But if I were to make a pro and con video for this truck, the cons list would be so small and so insignificant. I mean, they'd be very tiny things like the driver's side not having a handle on the roof for me to rest my arm, or the fact that you can't find different USB folders while you're moving because the car locks you out of them. I mean, we're talking really minor things like that, but huge pros like the quietness, the looks, the interior layout, all the different storage bits, the physical buttons all through the interior for all of your functionalities. I mean, this is an awesome vehicle. It's an awesome truck. I've loved having it around. I guess the biggest con for me would simply be the purchase price and the fact that owning it means you're getting about 12 miles per gallon in the real world when you're driving it with any sort of excitement. Now, unfortunately, we didn't make it through all of that driving fully unscathed because this truck is so very wide. I think we made it down a trail that maybe we weren't necessarily supposed to, and the left rear wheel has been significantly scratched up. Fortunately, this is a separate beadlock cover, and I should be able to pick it up from the dealer for a few $100s, maybe somewhere online even a little bit cheaper. But that is a bit unfortunate that that happened. We also got the running board a little bit as well. I was looking back at the footage. I probably could have gone further right. I just yeah, scraped some of it on the way out here. I was disappointed to see that. But either way, we do have to put the F-150 Raptor on the Daily Motor leaderboard. Daily Motor leaderboard's getting pretty large. We're up to almost 40 vehicles ranked for this year. And this is the Raptor 37 trim, but technically it's, at the end of the day, an F-150. So this ranking will kind of factor in the F-150 in general, along with specifically this trim we spent time in, the Raptor 37. Now, I already know it's going to be pretty high, but I've been thinking about it throughout this week, and I know where it's going. This F-150 Raptor is my second favorite vehicle that I've spent time with this year. And if I get time in one more F-150, if it's just kind of like a limited or an XLT or something like that, there's a possibility it would bump into my top spot. Because you gotta think, the F-150 platform in general gives you so much flexibility, so much usability. You can get it with just the little 2.7 liter EcoBoost. You can get it all the way up to the 5 liter V8. You can get an electric. You can get a hybrid. You could get a diesel, unfortunately not anymore, but you can get 8-foot bed, 6.5-foot bed, 5.5-foot bed, regular cab, extended cab, full crew cab like this. You can get the Raptor. You can get the V8 Raptor. I mean, what other vehicle lineup gives you so many different options and has it so well executed to be such a good vehicle? I mean, there's a reason why the F-150 is America's best-selling model, and I'm just about fully sold. The only reason the EV9 is eking it out just a little bit is because it's been a long time since I've driven the EV9. I remember it very fondly, and this is the Raptor that I've spent time in is obviously, I mean, it's a $90,000 vehicle. We have to factor that in. And I know that if I were to configure an F-150 the way I'd want it to be, even just moderately spec'd, we'd be looking at an XLT that's around $60,000. And that would be about what I'd be paying for the equivalent Kia EV9 that I'd be getting. And the EV9 just it was such a nice vehicle to spend time in and to daily drive, and the F-150 obviously has its draws, flaws, and drawbacks. But I love this truck. I really, really do. And it's one of my favorite vehicles that I've ever spent time with. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the F-150 Raptor, check the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.